Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. My name is Kimberly Graham. I'm your money mastery coach. Thank you so much, Linda, for having me come into the Monetizing Mompreneurs group. Most of you are probably, as mompreneurs, you are obviously moms, entrepreneurs, but you might be 9 to 5 going into your business or just starting your business and are staying at home. And I understand that world all too well. So I'm a teacher by trade. About a decade ago, I had been teaching for almost a decade. And I had $76,000 of student loan debt between my husband and I. And we were at a crossroads where I was like, I really want to be able to have something in my future. I might want to start a business. I might want to do these things. I might want to stay home with my kids, but this debt is in the way. It was all private loans, so we couldn't consolidate them. So we had to get real about our money management and what we wanted to do and how bad we wanted it. So in 28 months, we were able to get rid of that debt. And then we were able to actually do so many other things with our finances, like start to invest and have that emergency fund and all the things that you know you're supposed to do as an adult. Then, as I started my business, I actually started out at direct sales, which many of you probably did the same thing or are doing the same thing. And that was my first introduction to business ownership and the belief that just because you're making money in your business, that means that you've got it all together with your finances. I found that I met so many people who were making 50, $60,000, the top of the company, and they were talking about it. And I would ask them further questions and recognize they were up to their eyeballs in debt. They had no idea where their money was going. They were overwhelmed when it came to how do I manage it? And they were riddled with like, I just have to continue to make more money. And I decided I didn't want that to be my life because I knew based on my experience paying off debt we could do a lot with not as much, right? When you have a good management system. And that's what got me started with what I do now with KG Financial. It is my business where I love to help entrepreneurs understand how to manage their money effectively in their business and their home finances. And so as of today, my clients have put more than $1 million back into their values. So that money was leaking. That money was just kind of going everywhere. Some of them going from 9 to 5s to their business, some of them just in business, but their money was just leaking everywhere. They had no understanding of where their cash flow was going. And we were able to give them a system that is unique to them and their business and their values so that they're actually able to invest, save, go on those vacations guilt free. And that's what I've been able to do. And so I love being able to help business owners. So this was a perfect connection because I love being able to talk to mompreneurs about all of this. So yeah, let's see what else. I'm a mom myself. I have 3 girls, 8, 5, and 1. People are probably thinking about hiring out and just thinking about, I need a VA, but what do you need a VA for? So I think the first thing before you start thinking about the financial parts of it is really identifying what do you even want? Kind of like when you start your business, you don't just sell to everybody. You are trying to identify your ideal client and then focusing on them. Same thing. So what I would tell people to do first, if you're thinking about hiring out, is do a time audit. If you've never done a time audit, this is a perfect time to do it because then what you need to do is be able to say, okay, in the time frame that I'm typically working on my business. So if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have a 5 to 9, right, which is this is when you're working on your business, or if it's throughout the day, as in between you hanging out with your kids, really write down like what are the tasks I'm doing? Am I conversating with people? Am I making content? Am I filming myself? What am I doing and how long is it taking? Then I want you to be thinking of each of those tasks. Which of those tasks are income producing activities? So let me back up and like kind of talk about that because I'm going to use myself as an example. So there are certain activities that I do in my business that I know without a doubt is going to end in a sale, end in me being able to connect with someone and they're going to end up a client in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So like doing things like this, like speaking in a business in a group of business owners is an income producing activity. It might not be immediate, but a lot of people will come into my DMs and say, I saw you at that one podcast. I saw you at that one place. Tell me more about what you do. I tell them, we close, boom. That is an income producing activity. Me writing an email, I don't really get a lot of hits from email with people saying, hey, I'm into it. Let me get on the call with you. That doesn't typically happen. So that is not an income producing activity for me. For you, it might be. So you have to identify what is an income producing activity for you, what is not an income producing activity for you. When you identify that income producing activity, then that's where you want to have the most support behind. So don't just hire a VA arbitrarily to post content for you. If that doesn't give you sales, don't do it, right? If
Right.
right. So if like having conversations with other business coaches, other business groups is something that gives me income, that I'm going to leverage my VA to connect me to more business coaches, right? I want her to go, or him, whoever she is you hire, to go into business coaches like DMs to look at their profile, to let them know like, hey, I'd love to come talk into your ecosystem, like plug me into your ecosystem in some way, shape, or form. That is going to be a really great use of this person that I'm hiring. So don't just hire a VA or hire an assistant simply because you want someone to write emails for you if that is not an income producing activity.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I think that is the first key.
So what you're saying is instead of just hiring mundane tasks, to
Mhm.
hire income producing tasks.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to chew on that for
I'm gonna have to rewrite the weird work something.
Um, so my thing with like the monetary part of it, like, okay, great. I know who I want. I've identified my tasks that are
Yeah.
income producing
Wow.
because the goal right now is to create more income.
Wow.
Then the next thing is, okay, how much am I going to pay this person? Because I might not have money. For most of the clients that I work with, it's not the fact that they're not making money. They're making sales, or they might have a 9 to 5 that they're like, funding their business. It's not that money isn't there, but it's not utilized or structured appropriately.
Right.
So, for those of you who are making money in your business or even funding your own business, it is imperative that you are creating like buckets, so to speak, savings, organization, whatever you want to call it, funnels within your banking system that allow you to see clearly how much you're putting aside for things like operational expenses, which include hiring, right? So for some of my clients, they literally want that as clear as day. So we have one line item that is specifically for this is what keeps the business going. That's where the Zoom goes. That's where, Slack goes. That's where ChatGPT, like the monthly stuff goes, right? That's the monthly expenses. They literally have another line item that they put money into every single time they get paid that's specifically for hiring, right? It's different
Right.
for everybody. But when you do that, you at least are able to say, let's just say you have $200 a month that you know that you can invest in a VA. I know that doesn't sound like a crazy huge amount, but just follow me here for this example. If you're like, I know I can put $200 aside every single month for someone to come in and support me in my income producing activities. Whenever you're talking to someone and hiring them, you have to, it sounds a lot more um you sound a lot more like, "Okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm really trying to understand my business better, and I need someone to support me." When you say, "Okay, listen, I know that you might have packages, but this is what I have. I have $200 a month that I can give you. How many hours can I get for $200 a month? I would like to try it for a 3-month period, for a quarter, and then I would love to be able to entertain your packages because I don't know if I can afford that yet, but I gotta start somewhere." Right?
Okay.
That stance is a lot more of, "Oh, this person's serious about what they do. They're offering, this is what I have. I'd love to be able to support you here. I can invest this much. What can I get?" Even if it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, a month or
No, I
a week.
I believe,
Mhm.
right? Let's go into green flags and red flags. Give
Yeah.
us some red flags when it comes to some people.
Oh,
Some
you haven't thought
people,
about it yet. Okay, sorry. I
yeah.
just saw April.
Yeah, I thought
I would highly like, not even stuff that you haven't done, April, but also stuff that you're like, "I know I'm really good at this. I'd love to have someone support me in doing that even better." Right? So all that.
like I would, yeah, like okay, like and look at like the results, like how you were talking about, like where are is that task giving you momentum? Because maybe
Yeah.
it's not a money making task, but maybe it's filling up your email list. Maybe it's, that brings in people into your ecosystem, right? That
Yes.
brings people into as a follower,
Mhm.
right? That maybe, and I think, if you do social media, right? I feel like social media is a money making task.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Like, having someone engage with comments,
I mean,
if you're a
carousels
person.
are really big.
Right.
Carousels are like if you're posting reels and then doing carousels, like
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
right? Because people will stop and read.